Invisible Man from 1933, directed by James Whale, the man who also brought us the very, very good Frankenstein and its very, very good sequel, The Bride of Frankenstein. So the plot, a scientist basically finds a way of becoming invisible, of making himself invisible. The drug that he creates to do this ends up making him, as a sort of like a side effect, ends up making him very dangerous and very aggressive. And the realization of the advantages of being invisible gives him thoughts of power and control, you know, take over the world and hold the world to ransom. And as a result of murderous acts, a manhunt is deployed to hunt him down and stop him. At the same time, he is trying to turn himself back, but the longer he stays invisible, the more he seems to tumble into madness. Claude Rains plays the Invisible Man, or Dr. Jack Griffin, and I thought his performance was amazing. You don't really see him as he's all bandaged up, but it's all done through voice and movements as well, and a lot of like expressions with the arms, and the terror and the madness and the insanity is all delivered through his voice, and he conveys all of those, the madness, the terror and the insanity, all very, very well through his voice and through his actions with his arms and all of that. He was really, really good as Dr. Jack Griffin, aka the Invisible Man. So it was really more of a vocal performance, really, as you've hardly seen him, but he delivers a very good performance via vocals, and yeah, he did a really, really good job. I also loved the look of the Invisible Man, the way he was bandaged up, and these sort of shades that he would wear, and the nightgown, you know, the dressing gown. I really, really liked the look. It was very iconic looking, and they really sort of throw you in there into this story. Because when you first introduced to the Invisible Man, Dr. Jack Griffin, he is actually already invisible and he's trying to find a cure to get himself back. They did a really good job, I felt, at just throwing you straight in there and immersing you in. Because like some people might actually want to sort of get to know the character at first, you know, develop the character a little bit, get to know more about his relationships and why he's doing what he's doing. And it doesn't really explore that. It just throws you straight into it, and he's trying to find a cure back. That would put a lot of people off. But the way in which they did it was done very, very well, and it's sort of like, I liked it. And usually I'm one of those people that would complain about not really sort of developing a character and getting to know this character first before he actually becomes invisible and all of that. But for me, it just worked in this film, and I really sort of liked that mystery about him. There was something about this man and this mystery of why he's doing what he was doing and all of that, and I kind of liked that. I found this to be quite a dark movie. I didn't expect it to be as dark as it is, and they really do explore Dr. Jack Griffin's insanity. You know, the film really does go deep and dark when it comes to his madness and how far he does tumble down the rabbit hole, you could say. But at the same time, this had a lot of humour injected into the story as well. It had a lot of dark humour, which I found quite funny. And James Whale did a very good job at sort of balancing the very sort of brutal actions of the Invisible Man along with the over-the-top camp humour, and it really sort of balances the tone out very well, because you have got two sort of extremes in this movie. This movie was incredibly dark, and some of the stuff that the Invisible Man does is quite brutal, and it goes to, it explores some dark places. But then you've also got the very over-the-top camp humour, which James Whale was very well known for. But he's quite known for injecting that sort of humour into his films. I experienced it with The Bride of Frankenstein. The script was okay, but I felt like it needed a little bit more emotion in there to get you more emotionally attached to the characters a little. And so as a result, like, the ending didn't really have the emotional punch that it should have had, really. And I felt a lot of that was down to the script. It sort of lacked that sort of emotion that it really needed to get us sort of emotionally attached to the characters and what's going on, and just create more of a human story. Okay, the special effects in this film for 1933 were amazing. They blew me away. That first scene where the Invisible Man, he takes his nose off and throws it at the innkeeper's wife, because he's staying at the inn at the beginning of the movie, and they're trying to get him out, and he just goes mad and starts to take his bandages off and everything, and he takes his fake nose off and throws it at this woman, and he starts to unbandage himself, and my mouth just fell open. I was like, whoa, this looks really, really good for a film this old. And they really had a lot of fun with the effects as well. And they used the effects to inject some humour into the film. There's a scene with him chasing people around a table, and he's just wearing a t-shirt. So all he got is a t-shirt chasing these people around the table. So yeah, you could see they had a lot of fun with these effects, and they used it to their advantage to create and inject the humour that I felt this very sort of dark story needed. Gloria Stuart as Flora, the fiancée of Dr. Jack Griffin. Her performance was okay, but she really lacked involvement with the main story, and along with the script, it really didn't get me emotionally attached to the character or the relationship with Dr. Jack Griffin. And again, as a result, when you come to the ending, the climax, it also added to the lack of emotional clout that I felt like it needed. Even though this is still quite a tragic story and it did touch me, I just felt like it needed just a little bit more emotion when it came to the script and how the characters were developed. I do think they did a very good job at making you feel very emotionally attached to the Invisible Man, mind. And they did a good job at that. They show that there is a glimmer of light, there is a glimmer of a hope with the character, because he is going down a very dark path, and it's through the script do they sort of inject this glimmer of hope. There's a line that he says to himself when he's trying to, find the cure to make himself normal again, for him to appear visible, and he shouts to himself, "There is a way back, you fool. There must be a way to get back." So there is an inner battle going on. There is a conflict going on within him, and as he's going down this very dark path, at the same time there's light at the other end, and it's sort of like it's pulling him both ways. You do end up feeling emotionally attached towards Dr. Jack Griffin, but I felt like they needed to add a little bit more when it came to the other characters and his relationship with the other characters as well. He also did a great job at creating tension in this film as well, mainly during the third act. Like I said, the first two acts were quite fast. They were very fast paced, and it moves quite quickly. And then when it comes to the third act, everything slows down because the manhunt that was deployed to hunt him down, they're closing in on him, and the tension that's created during those scenes where they just circle the house and they close in on him, and they form this sort of human, sort of like a barrier, like a human barrier to make sure that he doesn't get past, like a human net really. They do create a lot of tension, and the film does slow down, but all for good reason, and it works. And there is a scene in this movie that really gave me chills. It's quite a big moment. It's during the third act, and basically a friend of the Invisible Man, or he was a friend anyway, until the Invisible Man says that he's going to murder him at 10 o'clock actually. Very precise he is. But yeah, so yeah, you're going to murder his friend, Dr. Kemp. And so what happens is the police disguise him as one of their own, as a police officer, and they escort him out of this house, and they send him as far away from this house as possible. Little do they know the Invisible Man is actually there, and you find that out because the Invisible Man tells Dr. Kemp just before he murders him, very, very brutally actually. Yeah, it was a very brutal moment, come to think of it. Yeah, but anyway, so the Invisible Man ends up telling Dr. Kemp where he was during the process, and it's a scene that sent chills up my spine, because I know the next time I watch that film, it'll be like during that moment, that scene where they're prepping him up to get him out of there and to make sure he's safe and escort him out of the house. The Invisible Man is there. He's always there, and that really sort of, I like that. It made that scene, or it's going to make that scene feel just a little bit more creepy and give you chills and add to the tension as well. This movie also had a very graphic script, very graphic dialogue. Like, he'd say lines like, "I think I'll throttle you," It was just very direct. He would say what he was going to do. And so, yeah, when it comes to the script, it was actually quite a brutal, graphic script, come to think of it. So this was a enjoyable, fun experience and a intense experience. It was very fast paced, it was tragic, but lacked the emotional clout that I felt like it needed or what I needed, and that was down to the script. It really needed more work on the script to give it more of a human story and to get you more emotionally attached to the characters, but it still managed to move me. Yeah, overall this was a fun experience, especially when it comes to the effects and seeing the special effects in this film. It's like, if I had seen this film for the first time in 1933, it would have blown me away. It blew me away now, you know. Very, very impressive effects and an enjoyable experience. So yeah, I will be giving The Invisible Man an A-. Have any of you guys seen 1933's The Invisible Man? Let me know below. I did really, really enjoy it, but let me know what you guys think. That's what I really, really want to know. And that is it. I have reviewed all the classic movies from Universal's Monsters box set. I really want to see a lot of the sequels now to these as well, a lot of the other sequels. But yeah, I really enjoyed watching all of these for the first time, and I liked them a hell of a lot more than I thought I was going to as well, and they were pretty impressive. But yeah, also I have got a video coming for the weekend, and it's basically going to be me talking about Justice League. It's a film, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It's coming out next week, but I really wanted to do a video where I just discuss a lot of the things that have gone on lately behind the scenes, and I really want to express my views and opinions of those, like the runtime, for example, and the review embargo. So yeah, again, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you're like me and you share the same passions as me and you're a big geek and you just love film, then why not hit subscribe?